absolutely perfect for the style of drinks you should be serving in it. So if you've got a short drink with no ice, this is absolutely perfect. The stem is going to allow your drink to stay cold, whatever you put in it, without the ice. And the actual brim on the glass is perfect, not only to smell the beautiful aromas of the drink, it's going to let the spirit breathe, and actually, in true Bond fashion, it's the perfect finish for any garnish you may choose to put in your drink. Who doesn't love a glass of champagne? And that any glass of champagne or beautiful sparkling wine deserves a flute. But the reason the flute is this shape, it isn't to do with how you hold it in your hands or anything like that, but it's also, once again, it's that stem to keep your drink cold, but actually having a very, very small brim is going to allow those bubbles to stay close and allow you to have a beautiful sparkling drink all the way down your glass. Highball. Every kitchen needs a highball, because actually you can serve any brilliant drink in it, whether it's a long pina colada or whether it's just a classic British Pimm's. This is going to be perfect because it's going to allow you not only to have the room for ice, spirit, but also any mixer of choice. Another classic would be the Charleston Tumbler. I've chosen this one this evening because I love the beautiful etching that you get on this glass. Really classic, but it's going to show off any dark liquid. And if your guest asks you for a drink on the rocks, that'd be the one I'd pick. This one's a bit climbing the charts, and actually it's becoming a real summer favourite of mine. This beautiful lustre glass that's just become available at M&S is brilliant for the gin fanatic in your life. So this might be called a balloon glass, copa glass in Spain. But what's so brilliant about this is the really wide rim. Loads of room for ice. It's going to allow you to smell and breathe any gin or drink you choose, actually. But I love this because I get loads of ice in there, loads of fruit, and then top it up with tonic for a refreshing gin and tonic. And then finally, this stemless wine glass. People are using these in the bar world, the world over, and it's real modern take on the way we drink spirits, or wine in fact. And it's the glass I'm going to be using this evening to create the Banksy inspired cocktail. Any champagne or beautiful sparkling wine deserves a gorgeous flute. There's nothing quite like that feeling in your hand, and this stem also keeps your drink really, really cold. The brilliant thing about having this very tight neck on a flute is actually it's going to hold those bubbles in, so that carbonation within your champagne is going to last all the way down the drink. And with these M&S ones, we've gone the little extra mile, and we've added etching at the bottom, which actually adds a technique which is going to hold your bubbles for even longer, so you can enjoy your drink right till the final sip. Cocktail making at home doesn't need to be scary, but you can really, really impress your guests by just a few little things. So I thought today we'd just share a couple of my top tips, which just make drinks extra special, whether you're having a party, a barbecue, family Sunday roast. So the first one I'm going to show you is just a classic lemon twill. You can do this with any fruit, so whether it be a lime, whether you have a lemon, but what you want to do is make sure you're picking up really big fruits. Just take your potato peeler, give it a wash if you've done your Sunday roast. And really what you're looking for is just a really lovely long peel, and take that round the lemon as far as you can take it. So you've got a nice piece of lemon to work with. And we're just going to do a couple of quick things with this knife. So you just need a knife and a board, nothing crazy. And what we're just going to do is going to trim it up. So you've got this jagged edge here. So just clean that right up. Just clean it right up so you get a nice clean rectangle, which is just going to make your drink extra clean. And then what you do at the top, you're going to take a small indent. So draw a little triangle to take a large indent out there. So you've got it like this. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. And then all you're going to do, if you get it wrong, don't worry, you've got plenty more on that lemon, and then you're just going to give it a good twist, harder than you think. And then you can add this to the highball, into a nice martini glass, and it's just going to be the perfect finish, I believe, to any little drink. And you're also going to get the zest all inside there. My top second tip for you is actually using tea. So we've got some beautiful teas at M&S, but in the fruit section. So this is a strawberry and raspberry infusion, but you could use any to your chosen taste. And actually what you could do is brew this for a good 10 to 20 minutes, longer than you'd ever think, using normal boiling water, but then pour it into your ice cube trays and add it to your freezer, maybe the day before your guests arrive. And what it's going to do is add a brilliant pop of flavour and colour to any drink you serve. So these are just some I made earlier, but just beautifully flavoured. You could use it for an alcoholic drink or even just add it to sparkling water for that extra pop of colour and flavour. And then finally, we've just started selling these beautiful edible flowers, and you can just do these as a garnish. But what I've also liked to do, as it's the summer and perfect way to chill any drink, is actually create them into ice cubes. So just using normal water in any ice cube shape or tray, you can just add these flowers and you've got a beautiful garnish drink instantly. No fuss, no bother, and I'm sure your guests will love them. So now on to the main event. We're going to make the Banksy inspired cocktail. We're going to use the stemless wine glass we talked about earlier because it's got lots and lots of room for all these delicious flavours. So what we're going to start by is by adding frozen raspberries to the bottom of the glass. And the frozen fruit is a brilliant thing to have in the house if you're planning on making cocktails at home, because not only does it add loads and loads of flavour to any drink, but it also instantly chills it. So if you haven't got ice, it's a bit of a sneaky tip actually. So let's put plenty of raspberries in the bottom of the glass. You want a really good quantity. You want that richness of flavour coming through. And then we're going to use our blackberry and elderflower gin liqueur that's just launched in our stores. Just a little tip. It's got a friend, which is the passion fruit and vanilla, which has a really, really bright summery flavour if you're wanting to try something later on. Perfect over just some tonic water, lemonade, and actually the best thing to do is cut a half frozen passion fruit over the top. But back to Banksy. So we're going to take a really good quantity. It's got some real hidden flavour to it. So it's got some rose hip and rosemary in there, which I think in this drink is really going to bring out those beautiful flavours. So make sure you've covered your raspberries. And then onto our final ingredient, which we mentioned before, which is the hard seltzer. These can be found in our chillers, and they are a brilliant midweek or a lighter drink to a traditional one of our cocktail water, and this one is our raspberry and rhubarb flavour. But actually tonight we're going to use it as a mixer, which not many people would think to do, I'm not going to lie, but I think it's going to be the perfect finishing touch to this drink. You're going to want a really good measure. We want a lovely long summer refreshing drink. Just give that a little stir. And then in true Banksy magic style, we're going to take our pink your drink, which is available as well in our stores, which is dried hibiscus flowers and dried raspberries. So it's all about the raspberries here. And actually, in true Banksy style, I'm just going to throw this right over the drink, pops and pops of flavour, just sprinkle away, have a bit of fun. And the brilliant thing about this drink is not only does it make it look beautiful, but the aroma you get from it. As soon as I can smell elderflower and of course raspberries and gin. Cheers, everybody. So now on to the non-alcoholic cocktail. So if you're not drinking or if your guests aren't, there's no reason you still can't create a beautiful, beautiful cocktail. So another stemless wine glass, lots of more frozen raspberries, cover the base. But this time, instead of the gin liqueur, we're going to use the 0% Botanicals, which is a relatively new product to M&S, only been out a few months, but I swear it, if I smell this, if I drink this, I struggle to realise it's not gin. Packed full of beautiful juniper, peppercorns, cardamom. Give it another good measure, cover those raspberries. They'll be delicious to finish the drink with. And then instead of the hard seltzer, my recommendation is just to use a beautiful red fruit drink. So I've chosen this red grape, pomegranate and black currant juice for this one because it's going to pair beautifully with the raspberries. So maybe give it a little bit less than we did with the hard seltzer, just right to there so it doesn't dilute that beautiful botanics flavour we've got here. And then finally, once again, we need to pink your drink. So throw over these beautiful hibiscus flowers, dried raspberries for a final flurry. Lovely, lots of aromas, really dark, rich flavour. I hope you found a top tip this evening to help make your summer cocktail making extra special. If you've been inspired and want to find out any information about any of the ingredients used, they're all available on our Sparks Live hub, which can be found at sparkslive.marksandspencer.com. And don't forget to share your cocktails for a chance to win our brilliant competition.
Hey,
hi.
Rachel, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm excited for these cocktails.
Cocktail time.
May I have a quick try?
Absolutely, please do. So you've got the non-alcoholic version.
Oh my God, it's delicious. I have to welcome Sean. Sean, you've got to try this.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Very, very good.
That's
amazing.
Very nice. Very nice.
So Rachel, I must introduce to you the wonderful June Sweeney.
Wonderful to meet you.
Who is the local producer of this amazing exhibition. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. So the Art of Banksy, which the unauthorised exhibition, which has toured many cities across the globe, brings together over 70 works of the iconic street artist Banksy. We also have a large number of bits of ephemera relating to some of his satirical work as well. It's been a bit of a journey to get here, to be honest with you. We were supposed to be doing this last year in a different venue.
And then COVID.
Yeah. So we've kind of been in hibernation for a year now. The one advantage of that has been that we found this most amazing venue in Covent Garden.
Yeah.
This was a thriving restaurant before COVID, unfortunately closed down, but it gives us an amazing warehouse space to be able to present the exhibition. I should probably just say before we start, it's important to say that this exhibition is not authorised or curated by Banksy. All these pieces are private pieces. They're pieces that are from private collections.
Wow.
So they're not pieces that have been ripped off walls, as it were. So we're delighted to be here. And we see this very much as kind of being part of the kind of cultural reopening of London, as everything opens up this week, as lockdown begins to ease.
Well, I think part of the cultural reopening of London is Rachel's cocktail.
Exactly. Hospitality is very important.
Exactly. Well, I think we'll have a quick sip. Then it'd be great if you could show me around.
Yes, let's get started.
Shall we?
Shall we?
See you, Rachel. See you later. Enjoy.
Thank you. So here, of course, we have the iconic Girl with Balloon.
Yeah.
Two versions of this, both in red and pink. In the early noughties, Banksy began to sort of supercharge what Andy Warhol had done in terms of screen printing. And in the exhibition here, we have a very large selection representing many, many different periods and many, many different images. The Girl with the Balloon itself, the image first appeared in Waterloo Bridge in 2002, and then we've seen lots of other locations in London. The meaning of this, I always think, is it that she's letting the balloon go? Or is it that
she's reaching out?
She's reaching for the balloon, exactly. So I really love that. And that's very much for the viewer to decide. Interpretation.
How many of these did he make at the time?
Well, there'll be probably about 150 different
versions
prints.
of.
Yes, exactly. And of course, there's that famous story in 2018 when a version of it was auctioned at Sotheby's. In 2017, there was a poll of Britain's kind of most famous work of art carried out by Samsung, and in fact, this beat both works by Turner and David Hockley and so forth. And of course, in 2018, there was that amazing stunt, I suppose, that happened, where it was being auctioned, and it was sold for, I believe, a version of this was auctioned for 1.4 million, and then clicker, and of course it begins to shred. And of course the shredding stopped towards the end. I think you'll probably all remember that very iconic images. And then it was sort of rechristened Love in a Bin, basically. Interestingly enough, the buyer of that then decided that actually that they were going to keep the work, and there's a suggestion that it might actually be worth more in that shredded form rather than we are here. Yeah.
Amazing. So should we go and see the next one?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll follow you.
It's really cool, isn't it? Yeah. So So here we have a huge piece, which is very exciting to have in our exhibition. As the years went on, obviously with Banksy, he got very much involved in working with musical artists as well, such as Blur, Wall of Sounds and so forth. And in 2010, he produced an Oscar-winning documentary called Exit Through the Gift Shop. As it transpired, they were actually a band called Exit Through the Gift Shop. So in order to not run into any copyright issues, Banksy basically gifted them this painting, which is called Brace Yourself, and then they then, of course, became Brace Yourself. And the idea was, amazingly, that they would actually use this to perform in front of. Yes.
And I think the thing with an image like this is it brings up so many different emotions in you, doesn't it? You know, everybody has a different reaction to something like this.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
I think so. And as I think I said before, I think you know, by Banksy not being a public figure, as it were, you know, and his anonymity, which is so important, in a sense, people can draw their own conclusions to it in a way. I mean, this means something to me which may be different than it means to anyone else. But I mean, I find it a very, very powerful image. And as I say, delighted to have this here at the centrepiece of the exhibition.
Totally. And also one that is an actual painting.
Sure, yes. Yeah. And now let's go and have a look at some subversive stunts that Banksy's carried out.
Indeed. But before we do that, here's a quick reminder of our competition. The lucky winner will win an overnight London break for two to see the Art of Banksy exhibition with a night stay and breakfast at the Radisson Blu Edwardian Mercer Street Hotel, a boutique haven in the heart of Covent Garden, located just 2 minutes walk from the exhibition. To enter the competition, post a picture of your cocktail creation with the hashtag SparksLiveBanksy, and we'll pick the best looking cocktail. Share on Twitter and Instagram or email us at sparkslive@marksandspencer.com. Just to say, this one's a little bit risque. So Sean, you want to talk me through it?
So, well, as well as doing his own exhibitions and all his pieces, Banksy also does some amazing subversive stunts as well. Earlier in the exhibition, we have a piece called Peckham Rock, which is where essentially he put a bit of rock into an exhibition at the British Museum. And it sort of sat there for 3 or 4 days. And we also have the story of the die-faced tenors, where he printed, I believe, about £1 million worth of tenors with pictures of Princess Diana on there. And then he threw them into the crowds at the Reading Festival and the Notting Hill Festival. I believe at Reading Festival, they actually then were accepting the payment. And here we have Paris Hilton. And Paris Hilton has released only one album, I'm sure you'll all be disappointed to know. And on hearing on this, basically working with one of Banksy's friends, Danger Mouse, they decided to essentially punk it. So what they did is they got versions of the CD, they changed a lot of the stuff inside, put a different CD in it, and then they got shoplifters to go into the shops and swap them, yes, which I have to say I think is brilliant. And
well, imagine if you were one of the people that accidentally bought the Banksy. You're laughing now.
We would be laughing now, but a lot of people, of course, didn't realise it at the time. But I think it's also important to say, as much as there are lots of serious things in this exhibition, there's also a lot of funny stuff as well, because he's got that subversive sense of humour.
Totally, and also it's really symbolic of the time, isn't it? In terms of, really, this was the beginning of the reality TV.
Exactly. It was. I mean, I believe Paris Hilton was 40 this year, and she's been doing it since she's been, I think it's nearly been 20 years or something like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Should we see that?
Yeah, sure. And the final piece I'm going to show you today is a version of the iconic flower thrower from an exhibition called Gross Domestic Product. This is a very, very powerful image, and it was originally painted by Banksy in Bethlehem in 2003, and essentially what it's here, it's about a Palestinian, and rather than throwing stones, it's throwing flowers. The image first appeared in a large format stenciled in Bethlehem shortly after the construction of the West Bank Wall, and essentially the graffiti was made of the 760-kilometre wall which separates Palestine from Israel. And
what's amazing is the way you get the movement with the three, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously this was a very well-established piece before this version of it, but we're very delighted to have this here because I think you just get that extraordinary sense of the power of running through the whole piece there. Yes, yeah.
And juxtaposed with the gold frames as well.
Yes, exactly, yes, yeah.
Brilliant. So did he create a number of other versions?
There are a number of other versions.
From this particular stencil?
So essentially we have a number of flower throwers within the exhibition.
So we've almost come to the end of the pieces that you're showing me.
Sure.
What are we going to end on?
Well, we're just going to go around the corner here, and there's a rather cheeky, famous piece which I really like.
Oh, we love this.
Everyone loves the grannies. Everyone always loves the grannies. It always brings a great smile to people's faces.
Yeah, what a lovely way for us to end. So obviously a lot has happened over the past year.
Yeah. The timing of this is about the cultural reopening of the UK, but we also take a massive responsibility in the fact that for many people this is going to be their first experience of coming to an exhibition for probably about 18 months. So what we've been very careful of is to design an exhibition experience that takes into account the need for social distancing. So as you've seen today, we have a single file route all the way around and what have you that would encourage people to obviously be able to really, really enjoy the art, but also to take into account the situation as it
to be safe.
Exactly. And I believe to create a really fantastic experience.
Well, Sean, with all that hard work, I think you, my dear, deserve another drink.
Much.
Shall we go back to the bar?
Absolutely, yes.
Rachel, get this man a drink.
Well, they're all ready for you. Tell me, how was it?
Fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous. Honestly, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So good. So we've got our usuals.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Lovely. Delicious. Okay, so it's now time to announce the winner of the competition. And the lucky winner is... Congratulations, you have won an overnight London break for two to see the Art of Banksy exhibition with a night stay and breakfast at the Radisson Blu Edwardian Mercer Street Hotel, a boutique haven in the heart of Covent Garden, located just 2 minutes walk from the exhibition. Thank you, Sean, for showing me around the exhibition.
You're very, very welcome. It's been great to have you.
Thank you. And Rachel, thank you for the drinks. More than welcome.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And thank you to everyone at home for tuning in for our virtual experience of the Art of Banksy exhibition. Remember, you can find all the information you need and all of the ingredients from today's cocktails at the Sparks Hub. Also, do be sure to check your emails because there are many more Sparks Live events to come. Plus, you can go onto the Sparks Live page at mns.com. Thank you so much for tuning in and look forward to seeing you next time. Good night.